Good morning, my name's Kathy and I'm from the Early Years Alliance, and today we are looking at edible sensory play. And sensory and messy play is so important and beneficial for babies and younger children. Not only is it lots of fun, but there is a lot of learning going on when they are playing that you might not realise when a child engages in sensory play. And these are things like improving their communication skills, enhancing their memory, learning the causes and effect, and learning and developing new tastes and textures and smells. They're exploring shapes and colours, growing independence through play and developing fine motor skills to use for grasping and writing when they're older, and it helps with their hand and eye coordination. Improve their social skills with others and promote scientific thinking, predictions, observations, comparisons, reasoning, data gathering, experimentation and evaluations, scientific concepts, absorption, solids and liquids. They will finish this play and come out as scientists. And research shows that sensory play builds nerve connections in the brain's pathways, which leads to the child's ability to complete more complex learning tasks. So this is particularly important to offer these kind of sensory experiences in the first 2 years of life. So we know that babies explore through all their senses of touch and taste and sound, sight and smell, and through the movement as well of objects, and particularly through the taste. So we are going to make sure that everything today is edible for our children to use. So we're going to prepare our resources beforehand. So I've got a number of things ready, and I've got a plastic mat down as well. So you can put your babies ready either in just their little vests, or you can put aprons on them, but make sure that also it's better on floor level, and ideally it's good if babies are sitting up from about 6 months old. We also have to be very careful about allergies for our babies, so there is the use of flour, so we do have to be careful about that. And obviously we are supervising and looking after and playing with our babies at all times. And because it's sensory activity, it's quite nice if we have the television off, if we put our mobile phones to one side, and we are just focusing on this experience with our babies. So some ideas that we can use that's safe to use with babies in an edible messy play is things like some yogurts. So you can make up your own yogurts, or you can pre-buy them, and they're very reasonable. Both the packet and the ready-made jellies are really cheap to buy, and I've also got some yogurt as well. So we can just let them really explore. So we have got some tools here, spatulas and spoons, a little whisk for them. We've got containers, because babies and young children, they love to transfer objects from one thing to another. We've got different containers there for them, and I've got some little cake containers too that they can transfer if they want. But really, I think it's nice if we can just let our babies explore with their hands and maybe their feet as well. So I came up with the idea of adding extra texture and extra sensory experience for our babies. So we can put it on something shiny paper, or I have got some grease-proof paper as well here, which has also got a lovely sound and a texture. So I'm going to put, first of all, my jelly on my grease-proof paper, and we can tip it out there with our spoon. And we can go, oh, look at that. And we can use that container as well, or we can reuse it. And here is my very slippery, wobbly jelly on my greaseproof paper, and it's slipping and sliding around the paper, and they'll probably get their hands in it and start to squidge it up. And it smells delicious. It smells strawberries. And the feel, so we can really describe how it feels. And for a baby, it must feel quite soothing actually for them. It's a little bit cold because it has been in the fridge. Of course, and the more we're playing with it, as we're giving it some heat, the more slippery it's becoming. So when they're trying to pick it up, they'll have that strange slippery feel where it's going through their fingers. And it's a lovely experience for them. And it's so different from toys that we would often give our babies, which is things like a plastic toy, which doesn't have any smell. It's not going to taste of anything when they try it in their mouths, because of course babies put and explore everything with their mouths. So this offers much more experience for them. So if they're playing with this, they're going to be using fine motor skills, and we'll be giving them lots of opportunity for interacting and making up new words as well. And we'll talk about the jelly, and we'll talk a lot about the colours, how it feels. Ooh, look at that. Is that all squidgy? And then, so we've had our lovely little play with that jelly, and that was so lovely. I could smell it. I did want to taste it too. Put that to one side, and then we're going to have a little go with some yogurt as well. So for this one, I'm going to use, again, my silver foil here, putting on, and I'm just going to again put just a dab of yogurt in there. And if you want, you could add some colours to it. I've got different coloured food colourings here, so we could add something like some blue, or I could add a little bit of orange to it. Try the red there. Add some food colouring, and again, you can see how colours are changing. See the colour, the food colouring being absorbed into yogurt, and this is really, really good for their mark making experiences. And again, it feels cold. It's beautiful the way it moves about. You can make lovely swirling patterns, and they're going to really enjoy getting messy with that yogurt, I'm sure. So also I have made up, as also edible sensory experience, is some ice here. So I put this in the fridge overnight in some little containers that I've got, and I've coloured them again. So I've used the food colouring, so I've made some green, and this one I put a lemon slice inside my ice, so that adds extra texture and smells and flavours to it. And also with this one, I added some cinnamon, so you can see that it's kind of brown colour as well. And that will also, of course, add extra sensory experience for them because it smells delicious. So this is very scientific, so I'm going to tip them out. Nice. This one's still a little bit frozen. There we go. And you can see them. The children can pick them up, handle them, and of course it's going to start melting as they play with it. So this is a great scientific concept for them. It's very cold as well. And there's all sorts of shapes that we can make the ice in. I've got a tray here, some heart shapes, and they will probably love transferring those back and forth, little lovely shapes there, back into that tray that we've got. And another one here, a big tray there, where again I put some blue food colouring in there just to make a different effect. All of those there. And they can have a lovely time. They're going to enjoy the sound of it makes, but it's going to be lovely for them when it starts to melt as well. So that is another sensory and edible experience for our baby. If you haven't got any of this equipment, then what we can do is we can use just some flour. Do check for your allergies. Just some flour and some water, and again some food colouring. And we can use this as edible paint as well, but also it's another experience, a little bit like the yogurt when we use it and they can push it around. And another one is some corn flour. And this is very scientific as well. It's like a solid and a liquid. So I'm just going to put a little bit of corn flour in here, in my tray already. And we just need to add some water. In. And these are all inexpensive as well. And spoon this. And we can mix it up. Lift it up. It's like solid and a liquid, and this is often called glue. So I can put some food colouring in this one, green, and we can add some flavouring. So I've got some elderflower flavouring here. That smells lovely. I'm going to add that as well. And you can use some tools with it, but we can also use our hands to mix it up and make a lovely experience, a different experience for our babies to play with. So I hope it's given you some ideas that you can safely use with your babies when they're playing with messy play. And for more information, please go to www.familycorner.co.uk. Thank you for joining me today.